All right, this is Jarrell with Hybrid Radio here at Roxy and Dukes in Dunellen, New Jersey for the Damnation Festival metal concert. And I'm here with the infamous, soon to be infamous, Cheese Puff Death Krunch. Let's get the names and the band here and what you guys do.
My name is Brian. I'm vocals.
I'm Nick. I play guitars. Guitar.
Rich guitars. Pat bass.
Chris.
Chris drums.
Chris in the back.
Oh, Chris is the shy one.
He's just
So which one's the heartthrob?
the heartthrob. That's Nick.
Nick's the heartthrob. Who's the tough guy?
That's Pat.
Pat's the tough guy.
Pat's the tough guy.
And who's the sensitive one?
That's me. I am the sensitive.
This is the metal boy band right here, if you will. Now, I must warn you guys before we do the interview that this interview might be a little raunchy. So any people that might be opposed to raunchy material might want to bounce. If not, we're going to continue.
The more you, the better.
There we go. All right. First question. How did you guys get together as a band?
Rich.
Get close to the mic, Rich.
With our drummer Chris, and then things just
Start the. Here you go, Chris.
evolved from there. So it was, one thing led to another. What do you mean?
Well, how did you guys meet? Like, how did you all
We're all basically friends from town.
from South Plainfield, New
South
Jersey?
Plainfield. And then we hooked up with Brian through Craigslist ad, and then Pat came in later on. I knew Nick. He knew Nick.
Pat knew Nick. Okay.
So, 2012 it started, so going on strong since.
All right. So I gotta ask about the band name. What's the story behind it? How'd you guys come with that name?
I don't know, some drunken night, just throwing a bunch of names out there.
Don't go too far. It's basically about like, what does it matter what your name is, as long as you're playing the music, the name means nothing.
So like you were running off names like Chris said earlier,
Basically.
and then how'd you guys land on that? Was it like a big pinwheel or you
It
threw
was
darts?
basically like, okay, we're messed up enough to be agreeable on this, and that's what it is.
Okay. Awesome.
For the record, me and Pat had no agreement in it because we came in late.
So you guys came in the door and they're like, "This is our name," and you're like, "All right, we'll go with it."
Basically, yeah.
You're not going to join a band and then all of a sudden demand they change your name. I thought it was. Initially I thought it was a little goofy, and I said, "Well, what are the lyrics about? Cheese puffs and everything?" And they were like, "No, we just play metal or whatever." And I was like, kind of like, that name's kind of silly. But then I noticed the reactions from people when they hear the name, and I said, "Man, you guys are onto something."
Okay. Get a little applause here from the singer. All right, so since you all like metal, what bands have inspired you guys to like articulate or inform your sound? How'd you guys come up with the sound? What bands did you guys listen to?
We listened to a little bit of everything from Lamb of God, Gojira, Machine Head, Exodus, Testament, all the old school bands, Cro-Mags, Biohazard, Hatebreed. We just write our own shit. We don't really care.
Old Dirty Bastard, he says.
I like Old Dirty Bastard, the Jizza, the RZA, Method Man, and I also like Sepultura, Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, Black Dahlia Murder, Proletariat, so on, Uncle Murder.
Uh-huh. How about you?
My influence would be these guys.
That was
Cheese Puff
so
Death
heartfelt. That's so sweet.
That's the sensitive side coming out.
My influences, I'm into a lot of thrash metal, a lot of hardcore, like 90s tough guy hardcore. I like a lot of death metal and grind and stuff like that. Like Napalm Death, Biohazard, Sick of It All, DRI, shit like that.
So you took all this music, right, and you put it in like a fucking blender, and this is what came out, what you guys sound like. So when you guys do this on the road, when you guys play, like, how has the crowds been responding to your shows? Like, what would you say have been your best and most memorable shows?
There's two really like small shows. Where one Staten Island, and one Court Tavern. Those two shows were definitely the best ones for energy-wise. It's all about the movement.
All right. Anything to say, Pat? Like, what would you say?
Yeah,
Like,
I like the Staten. We had a show with Staten Island with Enrage. That was like a really good show. We had like a chick mosh pit going. It was like none of the dudes were dancing, but there were plenty of girls just going in a circle. It was nuts.
naked ladies and like covered in like Jello and shit. Just
that was another one we had. That was another one at the Court Tavern with Ashes of Your Enemy and all that. And
sexy.
they had the burlesque girls there, which
Very
is
sexy.
pretty hot. Nick had a chubby.
I see it right now. It's fucking poking me in the eye. It's huge.
All right. Let's not go that far now.
I'm really close to his crotch. That's why.
Oh shit.
All right.
Turning gay.
So, I saw you guys at the Court Tavern, and I noticed that all your song titles, instead of having like a song name, it's like track 1, track 2, track 3, etc. So, what was the idea behind that?
It's just easier to remember that way.
I thought it'd be harder.
Brian actually
Like,
has names for all the songs.
okay,
He shouts them out after we say song 1 or song 2 or whatever. But everything's with numbers with us.
but you guys play the songs like out of order. So is that like hard to know? Like when he says like, all right, we're playing track 7, you're like,
We don't have a song 7.
No, we
But we don't
don't have a song 2
7
or 7.
complete.
how many tracks do you have like right now? Like 5, 8. Okay, so if you guys are gonna play like track 4, then track like 8, then track 1, then track 2, for example, how do you remember?
We don't have a track 2, so it makes it
We just
easy.
play the same thing over and over. When we practice, we go through the set.
That's what metal is all about, man.
3, 1, 6, 4,
And everything else is in order. 4,
9, 10.
5, 6, 8, 9.
All right.
Kenny!
Can you guys, for the people listening, can you tell me a little about this festival that we're on and how you guys got on it? What is this actually that we're at?
This is just a metal festival put together by one of our friends that we went to school with and grew up with. He's a really good dude. He's into the metal scene, Scars of Envy, Apostrophes. That's his 2 bands. And he asked us to get involved with it. And we played with some of these bands that have been on here already. So he asked us to join, and here we are.
Oh, so he heard of you guys before, right?
Yeah,
And
he was
like,
actually in the band originally from Jump Street. He was our bass player.
what you want to tell a story? What happened with him?
Well, his Scars of Envy is his main gig, so his
He couldn't
practices
do
was doing
both, right?
ours and,
Okay.
Just a lot going on with his own stuff, so he needed to take care of that first. And we found another bass player to replace him.
The
but
infamous
he didn't
Pat?
make it. No, there was one before.
Oh, there's one before you. Okay.
And then we picked up Pat because we felt there was a better fit, and Pat's been like the man since.
You guys fired him.
Yeah,
You want to tell us the firing story?
Yeah, he just sucked. he took Nick's song and just totally botched it and turned it into a bass Rage Against the Machine, and it wasn't even our style, and so it wasn't even. It just didn't sit well with everybody, so we just said, that's it, you're done. And Pat came along and did exactly what he had to do. So.
All right. So, what's next for the band? Do you guys have an album out now that
We're
people
working
can
on
buy?
a demo right now. It's kind of taking a long time because everyone's situations and time and families and other things going on. So hopefully by the end of the summer or before the end of the summer, we'll have it all finished and get ready to go out.
That's going on at 10:45 p.m.
Before that, 10:45 we go on.
10:45. They're gonna play. When you guys hear this, they will have already played their show. But you guys can check them out. They're gonna plug where they're gonna be playing next in a few minutes. But this is the part of the interview that is a hypothetical question, which you guys can pick the choice of questions. It could be a sex question, a kind of nerd question, or a would you rather question. What do you guys want to agree with?
I'm down for anything.
Whatever you want, it don't matter.
Sex question? All right, here we go. They want the sex question. Remember, they chose it. Everybody's going to answer this question, too. We're going to start with Pat.
No, don't do it.
We're going to do it.
Just gonna stick it in her
Here we go. If you could have sex with anyone in the band, who would it be and why?
Myself, because I could jerk off.
Next.
I'll take Chris because I want to bang the shit out of him sometimes.
We're assuming this hasn't happened already, by the way. In the band, who would you have sex with and why?
I would fuck myself, bro. Just because. Just because.
He's a masturbator.
Yeah. I'm a masturbator, bro. I'm a jerk off. That's why.
All right. Finally, to the singer. Let's see if you can have an original answer.
What about Chris?
Chris said he'll do all of us.
Chris is going to answer this one.
I would do Brian because he's so sensitive, and I think he'd be a good cuddler.
How about you, Brian? Who would you have sex with in the band and why?
How do I follow that? I was gonna say Chris, right? Because he could beat it.
Chris is getting
He
double
could beat
teamed.
it. Yeah. Chris got the grooves. That's it.
All right. Finally, you guys want to plug anything? Your website or whatever like
Yeah,
that?
we're not gay.
It's just you guys are friendly. That's all.
Gay.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, not Twitter. Well, we are on Twitter. We don't really do anything on Twitter. We got
So Facebook.com/Cheese Puff Death Krunch.
We got Reverb Nation.
Google the name, it's all there.
Yeah.
Reverb Nation. Okay.
We're,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
It's under one channel, but if you search the name, you'll see some footage.
Watch out for those squats.
Yeah, stay away from Cheese Puff Death Squad.
Just come see me. If anyone's in question of our sexuality, just come see me. I'll
Yeah,
fucking
Nick will
set
set
you
him straight.
Especially the guys. Nice. Awesome. So, thank you guys very much for the interview. This is Jarrell from Hybrid Radio, and I'm punching out.